Rev up your engines! Now here's an oldie but a goodie. A 2003 Honda CRV. When they started out making little SUVs, obviously they did something right because the Rav-4s are generally numero uno, and the CRVs are right behind them in terms of sales in the United States. But interestingly enough, this used one that was just purchased was made in Great Britain. Look, it's made in the UK. 5 of 03. Well, everybody knows anything about anything knows the Brits don't build things all that great, but in this case, it's a Honda factory. The engines, transmissions are not built in Great Britain. Right? They come from Japan. They're basically assembled there, and anybody can bolt stuff together. You know, a lot of people don't even know that tons of Formula One race car stuff are done in Great Britain because the British are nuts about racing, and all kinds of companies actually design and build them in the UK. And in this case, they obviously did something right because it's an old car and it still runs like a clock, right? Now, this is a standard front-wheel drive. Back in the day, people really weren't that nuts about all-wheel drive. And you can see, it's a nice small to mid-size SUV. I say small to mid-size because quite a bit more space than our Matrix does, and it's an 07. Spare tire on the back, which I love. Look at all the space, and then you drop the seats down, you got even more space. And these side doors are really handy for cargo, especially ladies. You're putting grocery in and you gotta lift up anything. It's way down here. It gives you all that space. Easy to access. And as we go inside, you can see it's a conventional Honda. It's got fabric seats, AC still works, automatic transmission, which most Americans have. It has the original tape deck and CD radio. You're still using it. Start her up. And you can say, baby's got 121,944 miles on it. Back in the old days, you got cruise control on the steering wheel. You know, come on, that's what people did. He added this nice little Honda steering wheel cover over the old wheel. Nice parking brake. Oh, I like this parking brake. It's so cool. Look, it is the coolest. It's space age. That's your parking brake. Mechanical, not electronic. As we look under the hood, the mainstay of this is its Honda engine. It's a 2.4 liter inline 4, intelligent variable valve timing, and as you can see, hey, these things can last forever. Doesn't burn oil. And the old Honda transmissions that are in these, the automatic transmissions are pretty durable. Personally, I've never seen a CRV go through one of their transmissions. I've seen some Accords and stuff go through transmissions, but I've never seen CRV actually burn out a transmission. They're pretty solid vehicles. So start up and listen to it. You can hear just a little bit of clicking, which is typical. Nothing outrageous, but understand this about Hondas. Hondas have old style cams with valve rockers that are adjustable with nuts and screws. You loosen the nut, you screw them in, you adjust them. Every once in a while you have to manually get them adjusted. This one could do with it. It's not going to blow up or anything, but eventually it should have its valves adjusted. Now, theoretically you're supposed to adjust the valves on them too, but they have overhead cams that sit on stainless steel shims that open and close the valves. Those shims are really well made, and they tell you you're supposed to adjust them. Well, guess what? Even on my 94 Celica with 240,000 miles, I've never adjusted the valves because that stainless steel crap lasts so long that you really don't have to. Oh, a couple years ago, I thought, let's for giggles see what it's like on that Celica. So I took the valve cover off and I measured them, and none of them were out of specification. So on the Hondas, no. Every once in a while, you gotta adjust the valves. And at least this is an inline 4, easy to work on. It's not a V6 that has half of the cylinders hidden and you gotta pull the intake. It's not that bad of a job adjusting the valves on this. It would need it at some point in time. It's not running bad, but that's just the way Hondas are. After 100-something thousand miles, it's a good idea to get your valves adjusted. Got the original AC, other than somebody left the caps off. It still blows ice cold. Most everything you see under here is still original. Brake master cylinder, except he did replace the front struts. They will bounce around. You can see he got entire strut assemblies and bolted them out. Now, like everything else, the newer CRVs are getting bigger and bigger. Everything is getting too damn big, if you ask me. This is a smaller one. The new ones are bigger, just like the Rav-4s. They started out smaller, and then somehow they expanded expanded, got bigger and bigger. There's still an awful lot of room in this thing. Because of its age, we're gonna hook up my fancy computer and see exactly what shape this thing is in. So we'll start up our tail scanner here. We'll just turn the key off and then turn it on so just the idiot lights are on. Here it comes. Auto detect. It's an old car, so it'll take a while to really hook it up because it is an 03. Diagnostic system is initializing itself so we can scan it. You can see the topology is small. It's an old car. It's not going to do all the stuff a new one does, but we'll see what it says. 40% done. It's got 2 codes. It's reading. We'll look around. The plastic's held up pretty good. It's not all cracked or sticky or anything. Like I say, the seats are still in good shape. The armrests are still here. Oh, the power windows work. Well, it's done scanning. It's only got 2 codes, so let's see what they are. PCM. Okay, permanent. Automatic transmission system malfunction. Could be any of a million different things. So we'll go to the other side and look at the automatic transmission. Hopefully it'll give us more information. It says the 3rd pressure switch failed. And the machine shows that the P0845 can be a faulty circuit to the transmission, a faulty transmission fluid pressure sensor switch, or a faulty transmission control module. In this case, he's not having any real problems with the transmission, so we're going to road test it. And before we do, we'll erase the code. You never know. We bought this thing used. We have no idea if anybody has messed around with it and maybe not reset the computer, or maybe changed the battery because the battery voltage was low and it can trip code. So, see now the codes are all erased. They didn't come back. So, we're going to look at live data before we road test it. We'll start her up, PCM, ECM, and we will look at live data. Here we go. We're going to go through the live data. As usual, black is good, red is bad. It's a map sensor system instead of a MAP sensor. Fuel trim isn't bad. Short-term fuel trim, it's adding 1.05. Long-term, it's adding 1. Not bad for an old car. A lot of times it'll add a little fuel because the fuel injectors are a little bit worn. Old age, but hey, it runs good. It gets good gas mileage. It doesn't burn oil, so it's in pretty good shape. It's got good charging voltage. You can see it's an old car, but it's still got a reasonable amount of data to it. Fuel injector milliseconds, spark advance, NOx sensor, misfired cylinder 000. All in all, the thing's in pretty good shape. It may be 21 years old, but 121,000 miles. That's kind of low mileage for a Honda that old. So it didn't have tons of miles put on it, and it seems to have been taken care of quite well. Doesn't burn oil. We'll take it for a road test. Now, first thing, check this out. Old car, right? Does it shake? No. We'll take it to our little drag strip, but hey, he did put front struts on it, so it is riding quite nicely. They do wear out eventually. I mean, it's 21 years old, 121,000 miles. The struts are going to be worn somewhat. It handles good. Now, of course, it handles nothing like a modern one. They've gone a long way in the last 21 years with suspension systems, but hey, it's still a fun little car to drive around in. I don't hear any wheel bearing noises. They're still in good shape. Sure, the brakes will work. It's a Honda. They work perfectly fine. And that code about 3rd gear, I don't really see anything because it's like I just shifted into 3rd gear. You couldn't even feel it, so it can't be anything serious. I'm assuming it was because somebody either fixed the solenoid or the battery got dead and they didn't reset it right. There's nobody behind us. There was, but there isn't anymore. And let's see what this little Honda can still do. Building up momentum. Smooth shift. Not a race car, but say you're going 50. You want to pass somebody. We'll floor it. We're going 60 now. Not a race car, but you can cruise all day long at 80 if you want. Look, no hands. Handles the road good. All this mileage, hey, it's still pretty quiet going down the road for a little SUV. He got himself a really good deal on this. Sure, it's used, but man, whoever owned it before him took care of it. Now, we heard a little clunk when we went over a bump, so when we get back, we're going to jack up. Came from the passenger side. We'll look under there. Rubber bushings are the first suspect. They get old, crack, and dry. Now, we heard the clunking noise over here, so jack the tire up in the air and start with the simple stuff. It's not ball joints or tie rods, that's fine. The sway bar, the rubber's getting kind of cracked. It's touching metal. Take the sway bar completely off and replace the bushing there and the bushing there. If you really want to get rid of the noise, you'd have to replace the low control arm because you can see the metal here. Okay, that's touching the metal here. And that's going to be making a clunking noise too. It's nothing to worry about, especially since this thing had been in the front end wrecked at one point in time. This could be bent a little bit here more. You can see where they re-welded it. And so this metal piece is hitting this metal piece. It isn't going to hurt anything at all. I wouldn't particularly worry about it, but that would be a noise creator too. Well, like I say, not that big of a deal. We'll look at the other side. See, on this side, notice it's not touching the metal because this one is okay. See, there's a big gap here. On the other one, this was touching the metal. And that's where a lot of the noise is coming from. I wouldn't particularly worry about it. I mean, if you wanted to be a fanatic, yeah, it's expensive lower control arm. And it's probably because it was wrecked. You can see this one wasn't bashed in like the other side. So during the wreck, it must have hit this side more. 21-year-old Honda CRV. Yeah, it was hitting the front and that little piece is bent. And it's hitting the front of the lower control arm bushing. It's not going to hurt anything. It still could go a long way. There's a lot of life left in this thing. If you could ever find one with this kind of low mileage, my advice, even if you don't know if you're going to keep it, get a good price, buy it, because you can always sell it at a profit to somebody else. People love these things. There's a lot of guys who are looking for the older ones because they're simpler. They don't have all the anti-pollution crap on them. And if you live in a northern state and you buy one of these and bring it in, usually you will get a waiver and you won't have to get any pollution control things fixed. I know in Rhode Island that's the case. So a lot of guys will come to the south, buy a car, bring it to Rhode Island, and not have to deal with the government bureaucracy of an emissions inspections every year because the car is too old but still in good shape. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.